Welcome to the Great Plains Gravel Cup, powered by the SufferSooner podcast. If you're into riding gravel or just love a good challenge, you're in the right place. This is where we bring you all the gritty details from the world of gravel racing across Kansas, Missouri, and Nebraska. We'll be covering 6 premier events, including Flint Hills, Open Range, Mule Skinner, Rock Ridge, Solstice, and Pony Express. All gravel, all awesome. Each episode will bring you stories from the leaders, race directors, first-timers, and some truly epic moments from these events. So buckle up and join us as we explore the heart of the gravel world. One race at a time. All right, guys, welcome to the Great Plains Gravel Cup, episode number 10. We're talking with the overall single speed first place in the cup as of Rock Ridge.
Yeah.
So 5 races in, and we have pretty much a clear-cut winner. Well, not clear-cut winner, but he's winning by at least, I think it was like almost 20 points.
Yeah.
So there's got to be one, he's got to not show up to this next race.
That's true.
Or 2, he's got to have 20 other single speeders.
Yeah.
21.
Right.
And then the second place guy has a chance.
Maybe I'll go register single speed just to give the second guy a chance. Wait a minute. There's no way in hell I'm beating Gabe. Okay. All right.
There's
sorry
no way.
about that.
I've the only way I know of Gabe is like the back of his helmet.
Yeah.
He wears an arrow helmet with a visor, and man, he is like at the beginning of the race. It's like there's Gabe, and then I'm like, there he goes.
It's good seeing you.
Bye, Gabe.
See you at the end of the race.
See you later, man.
Oh, it's good.
So.
That's good.
Yeah, but how'd you get into single speed where you're just like, gears are for wimps?
Basically, yeah, that sums it up. I wanted to be better than everybody else, so have a little elitism in your life.
Yeah.
No, I started riding gravel on a clunky old mountain bike, and after I did my first race, the deal I made with myself was I'd buy a new bike.
Yeah.
Gravel appropriate. And I didn't know what I wanted, so I said, you know what? I got buddies who rock a single speed, so I'm going to get a single speed that's cost effective, and I'll ride that until I figure out what I want. And I'll get it in the process. Well, that plan just kind of went down the drain. I kind of fell in love with it, and I've own 3 single speeds now. So
Yeah, I think Bobby was telling us that like during the group rides and stuff, they always yell at you to get a bike with gears.
Yeah, I was going to ask, do you even own a bike with gears? And a lot of you single speeders, it's like if that's how you got started, you're like, well, why would I go to gears now?
Yeah.
I got a bike with gears. I got a wrench and other gears.
Yep.
I am really good at switching out the cog on the rear wheel, but I'm shopping around a little bit for gears just for my backup bike, just to help improve training. Challenging training on a single speed, but yeah, I do get a lot of gear pressure. That's what I call it. All the group rides, I get a lot of abuse about it. So they're just intimidated.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what it is we're all just scared of like, it's like, man, I don't want to get beat by Gabe again.
My biggest fear is when a really good single speed rider buys a bike with gears. Yeah. Because then you're just like, I don't even like.
I barely stood a chance last time.
Yeah. Before, at least I had the chance he might have the wrong gear.
Yeah.
I mean, look, to be clear, I think you guys have been kicking my butt in the past few races. So.
Well, we didn't want to be the one. We didn't want to be the ones to say it, but appreciate you noticing that.
Early season, it was maybe the reverse, but I've had a tough season. Tough season on a single speed is not a good look. So,
yeah, I think as you probably go through the season, that it tends to wear on you a little bit more, and the hours tend to pile up, and you just probably don't have like the same amount of like snappiness in the legs coming to the races.
Yeah.
So. Well, yeah, especially if you train 12 to 15 hours a week and put a massive gear ratio on your bike. That's way bigger than you should be running. It catches up with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go into the gear ratios. Do you swap out for courses, or are you just kind of like, oh, I like this certain ratio and it seems to work for me most of the time? It's
kind of a mix. I'll swap for courses for sure. I showed up to open range with 42.15 on there, which was not a good idea.
That's a
Um,
that's a big year.
Especially in those conditions. In those
Yeah.
conditions, it was the wet sand right at the beginning. I was toast.
Yeah.
It was downhill from there. I at Rock Ridge, I went the opposite direction. I went with I think a 42.20,
Okay.
really spinny, which was great on the hills, but I didn't pay close enough attention to the profile and didn't realize the first approximately 15 miles were relatively flat. So
Yeah.
I just, had to wave goodbye. Everybody rode away from me as soon as we got outside of town.
Right.
There was no spinning enough to keep up with the group. So
You're like, I
that was,
can't do 250 cadence.
Right.
it was great by the time I got to the hills, but by then everybody was probably 5 miles up the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find that you pass people more in the back half of that race that just probably went out a little bit too hard?
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely. And that's pretty much every race.
Mm.
I'm not fast enough. I lack the top end power currently to really start with the lead group and draft. So I just have to adopt an even pacing strategy. So
Mm.
when I go out the start line, I'll push hard if I can get onto a group for a little while, but usually I just drop off after the first few miles and just ride the pace that I feel comfortable with doing for the
Yeah.
distance and the course. So usually that actually, a lot of people, they'll take off really fast and then their speed will decline as the race
Hmm.
progresses. Mine stays more evenly. And so it makes this nice little graph where we sort of cross paths at some point in
Right.
the back
Yeah.
half of the course. So I tend to catch
It.
a lot of people. And if it's a really bad day, like a solstice with the wind, I catch a lot of people I shouldn't even be catching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is the pacing like that? Is that something that you found natural, or is it something you had to work at, like to be able to pace races, especially on a single speed, but to be able to pace them at such a constant effort and speed? Is that just something that came natural?
Definitely not. It
Okay.
comes from experience.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine it's like doing a 20-minute FTP test or
Mm.
being a time trialist. The first few times you're going to get it wrong because you don't really know what you're capable of. So you really got to have your finger on the pulse of your conditioning to
Mm.
be able to start and know what kind of effort you can manage, but also really being in tune with how you're feeling and
Mm.
making adjustments to your effort as you're racing. Because I do the same thing as everybody else. I go out hard and then I slow down a little. My
Sure.
aim is to try to slow down less than everybody else.
Yep.
It's good strategy.
Yeah.
Slow
It's
down
good.
less than everybody else. I
Yeah.
like that. So
So, how long have you been racing single speeds?
So I started riding single speeds in the end of 2016.
okay.
Okay. All right.
Dabbled in racing, but mostly I would say just finishing the events, with more survival. I started in North Carolina in the mountains.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Single speed in the mountains is a whole nother
It's a
beast.
mess. Yeah, it's a mess.
You can really progress. Like I got good at climbing and doing massive climbs, but just not going fast at all.
Yeah.
So I would do these events and I would get to the finish, but I was always at the back of the pack. And then I moved to Emporia in the summer of 2023, and things just a switch just flipped. I started riding group rides. I had never done group rides. There was no gravel scene where I lived in North Carolina at all.
Hmm.
So the only time I rode with other people was at a race. So I wasn't, there was nobody to pace off of or anything back home when I was training in North Carolina. So when I moved here, there's tons of group rides in Emporia. So I just got faster naturally. And then I started racing in the spring of 2024. And I approached it with the same mindset I had when I was in North Carolina, which is I'm just going to line up, do the best I can, and I'll finish probably at the back somewhere. And it was the opposite of that. Uh,
Yeah.
I had started January of 2024. I committed to riding 10 hours a week, almost predominantly all zone two. And that just really worked well for me.
Mm.
My Flint Hills Gravel that year, 2024, I finished third place in the adventure single speed, which was really cool. And then from there, I basically landed on every single podium for every race I did in 2024,
Nice.
including the rad in Colorado, which had a massive amount of climbing. I got second
Yep.
place in single speed
Wow.
there. And then I got fourth on Bound 100 and second at Gravel World 75. So I've been racing since last year, essentially, like thinking I actually
Nice.
had the ability to do so. Um,
Nice.
yeah, it's kind of been wild because I've been riding, like I said, since 2016, and mostly just back of the pack, kind of staying alive riding. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden it's flipped. And I mean, I'm still overall mid pack, top 25% on a really good day, overall field. But in single speed, I'm almost always finishing on a podium.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When you say zone 2, do you have a power meter on your single speed? Nice.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
ride a single speed, but I am not like old school. I'm all
Okay.
technology all the time. I mean, you saw my helmet.
Good.
You already
Yeah.
brought up
Yeah.
the helmet. So I have the Garmin Rally pedals. So I flip them
Okay.
across
Nice.
my two single speeds that I ride outside. So I am a big data nerd. I actually work with data professionally in geographic information systems.
Oh,
So
nice.
I love data. So getting a power meter was probably one of the best upgrades I've ever made as far as my bike is concerned. So while I only have one gear, I still have all the other tech.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. I think for some people too, like, they go from, feel based and then heart rate. And then when they go to a power meter, they're like, I don't understand what these numbers are telling me. I'm just like, I usually tell my athletes, it's like, that's just what you're putting out. That's how hard the course is. It's not telling you how strong or whatever. It's just telling you what's the outside, happening to you. So, and then, yeah, it's just once you figure out those numbers and stuff, and it's so much easier to ride a zone 2 ride
Yeah.
with power than it is trying to go off of feel, because I feel really, really good riding like 400 watts. And that is not zone 2
It
for
is
me.
not. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you feel really good for a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then
right.
it's too late.
Then it's too late. The damage is done.
Yep. So,
So speaking of the data side, I'm just curious. So since single speed riders can take out the variable of, well, I shift too many times or I don't shift enough, what are some of like the data trends you look for post ride or post race that kind of tell you, hey, this is what I need to work on? What are some of those types of metrics that you're looking at?
So power, obviously, that's a huge
Sure.
one because that's the one that we control. It's kind of independent of other variables, but cadence is a big one.
Yeah. Does
It's
that,
Go ahead.
does that help you with your gear choice for the next time you do a route that's similar? Do you have like ways to sort of compare for that?
Yeah. So one of the other reasons I really like riding single speed is just the long term problem solving aspect of it and
Mm.
trying to crack the code of gear ratio selection because it's actually really difficult. And the joke, you're always in the wrong gear. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
true. I mean, on every single ride, you're going to be in the wrong gear for the bulk of the ride.
Sure.
So cadence is, looking at your cadence and understanding, am I averaging too high? Am I averaging too low? And knowing where I want to be for my ride average, it really helps in identifying whether I'm in the right gear, whether it's time to upgrade my gear ratio. So I
Mm.
mentioned earlier that I put way too big of a gear ratio on there, 4215. Destroyed my legs over several weeks running that gear, training and trying to race on it. My average cadence was probably like in the low 60s
Mm.
Yeah.
on a flat ride.
Yeah.
So that is probably not a good thing. Lesson learned in my notes now moving
Right.
forward. I'm aiming for like around a 80 average. So my current
Okay.
ratio, I'm hitting 80 or high 70s, just depending on the nature of the ride that I'm doing. If there's a ton of climbing, it's going to be lower. The reason being is one, my cadence is around 30 to 50 when I'm going uphill most of the time, and then you're descending. I'm not pedaling because I'm spun
Hmm.
on single speed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my cadence numbers are going to my average is going to get drugged down on a ride like that versus a flat ride where if I'm spinning the whole time, I might come out with 80 average, and that's where I.
Sure.
So it definitely plays a part. On the ride itself, you're committed. Once you start pedaling on, you're stuck. You have the gear you have. You can't do anything about it. But it's a lot of post ride analysis ride after ride after ride, looking at it and looking for the trend in my cadence. Is my cadence going up? That's what I want to see when I'm training. If I'm on the same ratio, is I want to see that
Okay.
cadence going up, because that means I'm getting stronger. I'm able to spin more consistently at a higher RPM. And that tells me, okay, if I'm averaging 90 RPMs on a ratio and I'm not heading to a mountain course,
Mm-hmm.
then I probably need to bump my gear ratio up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring that
Yeah.
average down to around 80.
Ah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good.
So how do you deal with like the when you get into a course? You mentioned the overused phrase is you're always in the wrong gear, which you probably are. But how do you deal with that like mentally and like the wear and tear that has on you when you kind of recognize you're in that moment?
That's a great question. Um, you definitely have to develop an intimate relationship with suffering. That's just you gotta and I'm going to use the word stoic here, and a lot of people misunderstand what that word means. But as far as the actual philosophy, stoicism goes, I can't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just try to control the factors I can control. If I need to get off and start walking all the double digit graded hills, then that's what I need to do. If
Yeah.
that's what's going to get me to the end of the race and get me the best result I'm going to be able to get on the day.
Yeah.
But it's purely a lot of it is just purely mental. I mean, if you've been doing the training, you have the fitness going in. It's just like riding with gears.
Mm.
Everybody. One thing I like to tell people is, everybody is on a single speed at some point, even if you have gears on the bike.
Yep.
If you've ever done any rate riding with a lot of climbing, you've run out of
Yeah.
gears.
It's true.
Yeah, and I've gone and tried to shift into the next easiest
never
one,
there.
and it's not there.
You're always trying to find it. It's
I'm
not
trying
there.
to find it. Yeah, and I think for us like gear people too, like there's sometimes on some routes where you're kind of jumping up the cassette, and then you're kind of jumping down, and you're trying to find the sweet spot of gears. And so it's like it's not like we have like all the perfect gearing. We just have a
variety.
bigger range to kind of work with. But yeah, like even with us, it's not like we have all the answers either. So.
Yeah, and I think the more I talk to you crazy single speed folks, the more I'm wondering, like, we could probably all benefit from riding single speed for a portion of our seasons, just because I think the mental training you would get off of that would surpass any of the physical gains. Like because I found myself, even with a geared bike, where you're just the grind of a course can just wear you down. And you have to eventually get to that point of, hey, I can't do anything about it. I just have to pedal or get off my bike and walk and get through it and then on to the next challenge.
Yep.
And this moment will pass. Like, kind of have to just keep telling yourself those things. I'm looking at a list of questions. I was going to save some of these for rapid fire, but some of them are just too good to pass up. And I'm like, what was the most demoralizing moment you had on a single speed?
Man, that's a hard one. Because at this point, I don't really get demoralized.
Yeah,
Not because
you've seen it all, right?
Yeah, I honestly, I started riding, like I said, in the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't get any worse than that.
No.
Riding tree to tree or power pole to power pole,
Yeah.
and resting as you climb a 3 mile climb or a 5 mile climb. That's as hard as it gets. My the things that demoralize me now um, is when I'm not riding to the level I feel like I should be riding in a race.
Yeah.
So Unbound 200, that's my goal race. I did it this year for the first time. I'm gonna get on the podium. It's almost guaranteed. Because I'm not the fastest guy. I'm nowhere near the fastest single speed out there. I wouldn't classify myself as a hitter or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm consistent enough to get on a podium, especially if it's 5 deep.
Yeah.
My podiums are, and I got 60 miles into the race and started cramping.
No.
Oh.
60 miles into a 203-mile race, and it was just getting hotter and hotter. So that was demoralizing. But it's just like anything with riding a single speed, you just accept it and you move on. There's nothing you can do about it. You adjust the game plan.
Yep.
I think a lot of that comes from having ridden a single speed for so many years and put myself in so many bad situations on the bike.
Yeah.
One of the things I've had to learn over the years of doing this is to restrain myself, to pull
Mm.
myself, reduce my ambitions, which sounds, counterproductive, but it's like, in my head I could go do the long voyage of Gravel Worlds in a few weeks, but that's probably a terrible idea, and I know from experience
Right.
it's definitely a terrible idea. And would I finish? Yes, but I would be miserable and I would be
Yep.
destroyed and wrecked for the next few weeks, and then Pony Express might actually be opened up.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do that. But yeah, I mean, I don't really get demoralized anymore because of the nature of riding a single speed. And yeah, I get
Yeah.
frustrated, I get let down, I get disappointed, but you just put that out of your head and you just keep grinding. Uh,
Yeah.
Yep.
when you ride a single speed, it's hard all the time.
Right. It's just hard no matter what. Yeah.
Yeah.
You named a couple of things that you've learned and the resiliency that you've sort of taught yourself and earned along the way. What is something else that if you were to go back to, 2016 Gabe that's first starting out with single speed, what's something you would advise yourself to do different?
I would say the biggest thing is to ride consistently.
Hmm. That's
If you
for
don't have,
everybody. Yeah.
yeah. If you don't have consistency, it doesn't. Nothing else matters.
Yeah.
You could have the best training plan in the world. If you don't do it on the prescribed days, you're not going to see
Yeah.
the results.
Yeah.
But that's a big one. And but what I just said as well is practicing restraint.
Yeah.
Early on, I just would go out and do crazy rides and just absolutely destroy myself and put myself in dangerous situations in the mountains with no cell service, alone. You know,
Yeah.
dark.
Did you have a favorite word for those scenarios when you found yourself in that situation? Favorite 4-letter word, maybe?
Just a bad
Idiot.
idea.
That's
Yeah,
Yeah.
idiot. I'm considering bad ideas. I still do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they got
But I
that.
mean,
So
there's something appealing. Like I kind of get the feeling from you, Gabe, that like there's something appealing to those adventure rides, man. Just
Yeah.
going out there and just being like, I don't know, like let's try to do like I don't know, 100 miles with this whatever climbing in this direction and see what happens. Let's just go and just see what happens. And then you get out there and you're like,
This is a
why?
Why did I do
Why did
this?
I do this? But then you're already like, well, I'm already like mostly out here, so I got to finish now. It's like it's too late. But yeah, it's something about those adventure rides where you kind of like just kind of get out there and you suffer through them and then you like learn. You're like, well, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was, and as I was doing it, it was like the hindsight, like it was okay,
Yeah.
maybe I wouldn't want to do it every weekend, but I lived.
you're spot on. I love an epic adventure. It's hard to beat that. You learn a lot about yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
In those moments. I early on would refer to them as transcendental experiences
Yeah.
because you come back changed when you put yourself in a situation like that.
Yeah.
But again, you can't have too much of a good thing. And
Yeah.
Yep.
I've learned that if I want to actually get better at the sport and get faster at the sport, then I actually need to do the shorter distance races. I need to stay away from the 200 or the 150 at Gravel Worlds, because I jumped right in when I thought I was going to be a racer. Back when I was still fairly slow, I started out trying to do like Gravel Worlds 150 or Gravel Locos 150, and it was just not a horrible experience, but it was survival. At the
Yeah.
end of
Yeah.
the day, is what it came down to. And you're not getting better doing that. You're learning a
Yeah.
lot in some ways. You're getting experience, but you're not going to become a better racer. You're not going to get faster. You're learning how to just get to the finish line,
Yep.
which has its benefits when you have a really bad day as a racer, just getting to the finish line, especially in a race series like the Gravel Cup, because you want to finish. But
Yeah.
it doesn't. Again, it's not going to get you to the finish line first to race.
Yeah. Can we maybe let's shift a little bit to the Gravel Cup series itself? What were your expectations of yourself coming into the series before Flint Hills Gravel started?
So Racing single speed is interesting because you can show up and I can be the best guy,
Sure.
or I could show up and somebody who is an absolute beast can be there as well and just
Sure.
destroy me. I mean, I think I finished on podiums in 12 out of the last 14 races I've done.
Okay.
And I can show up to a race and just get absolutely annihilated. Like be an hour behind the first place.
Yeah.
So going into the gravel cup, I didn't know who was going to sign up for the races. I didn't know who
Mm.
would show up. I can list off a handful of hitters in the region that could have easily taken this from me.
Yeah.
I would be doing second place or third place depending on and who it was that showed up. And I'm sure you guys know a few guys as well. Great example, Eric.
Yep.
That's true.
Open range. He
Yeah.
had planned to do single speed. Had he
Yeah.
quickly followed through and shown up to Flint Hills on his single speed, I probably would not be in first place right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't know. Of course, I was stalking all the race entries and looking who was on the list. And it's a small community, so I know a lot of the guys. I can pick out who I can beat and who's likely to beat me and who it's going to be a race with.
Yeah.
So coming up on the actual race days, I have a pretty good idea of where I'm going to finish. I knew the odds were high that I would do well and probably win the series because again, consistency is one of my biggest strengths.
Yeah.
Yep.
For a lot of people, that's not one of their strengths. So showing up to 6 races is something I know I can do. Like there's no
Yeah.
question I'm going to do it unless something happens to me. And that prevents me from going to the race. But by choice, I'm going to be there and I'm going to line up and I'm going to race pretty much no matter what. Open range, I was coming off of a pretty severe illness, and
Mm.
of course the weather was terrible. So I was actually just going to start and quit, and
Yeah.
got persuaded by my teammates to carry on, and I ended up getting first place at that.
Yeah.
Um, but a lot of people decided they didn't really want to do the 120.
Yeah.
It's true.
No judgment here. That was probably a great call because I was miserable all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pretty miserable until about 5 miles from the finish line, and then the sun came out, and I was like, "Oh, this is what the sun feels like."
Yeah, I was miserable for a different reason.
Yeah,
Like it could
then
have been
I'm
like
like-
this all day.
Yeah, I'm like, "Oh, this is nice. Where were you at, buddy?
It's good to see you again.
Good to see you again, son. But we're almost done."
Yeah. You mentioned Eric in open, obviously Eric from Open Range, but you mentioned him, taking control of a couple of races. I think if I saw his name on the sign up list, I'd be sending him a daily email like, "Sorry, bud, the race was canceled. You're going to have to withdraw your registration." Just hope you can convince him not to show up.
Right.
He is a very strong rider, and
Yep.
We've had the good fortune of riding with him quite a bit this year, especially, and yeah, he's a strong on a single speed. It's
Yeah,
good stuff.
He beat me at Solstice, and then he beat me again at Open Range or at Rock Ridge.
Mhm.
So back-to-back weekends, total domination.
He was on a tear on Rock Ridge, man. I don't know what fly got in his bonnet, but man, he was tearing it up. We never saw him again. He
Yeah.
was just gone.
Yeah, yeah,
So he got on my hit list at Solstice, and then he got upgraded.
Yeah.
At Rock Ridge. He got moved up the list. So.
yeah,
No, I definitely would rather lose to somebody like Eric than win the races I've won because there hasn't been competition compete against me.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
How do you feel the gravel cup has it gotten more single speeders to kind of come over and do these races? Have you noticed, like, than just going around and doing some random races here and there? I mean, because I look at the single speed roster and it's 10, 15 people on there.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely made a difference. Now I haven't done most of the races in the series, but I did a few last year, and like Flint Hills is a great example. I think there were 10 plus single speeds. I think for the 85 for the challenge,
Yeah.
which is a lot. That's a deep field.
Yeah.
That's
That's a huge field.
for
Yeah.
single speed. So I think definitely, I think that's one of the strengths of the gravel cup is everybody gets points. And we know, like I said, consistency. If you show up to the races, especially in a smaller field like single speed, you have a chance of doing well in the overall series. Even if it's
Hmm.
not a podium spot, you know, fourth or fifth. I mean, that's still
Yeah.
a good finish in a race series.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely a draw for the people that like to ride single speed at races that predominantly do that or want to get into it. It's fun. You know, gamifying
Hmm.
things obviously makes them more fun.
Yeah.
I kind of wondered too, because it just seems like at least a lot of the single speeders we know, they're in it more for the ride and the adventure than maybe a race aspect of it. And I think that's just natural, right? I mean, you think about the grit and the determination it takes to do single speed anyway, let alone to race it. And I was hoping that the Gravel Cup would kind of tie some of these folks together the way it has with the geared divisions, because I think we've seen where there's this sort of camaraderie, but also just like this consistency of people that we see race in and race out, and it makes it so much fun. Like, I can totally appreciate how somebody might say, "Well, I'm not going to do these races because you just never know who's going to show up or what it's going to, what the field's going to look like, and maybe I don't really want to race." But when you start getting the same people showing up week in and week out, and you just start having that little battle between each other, it is so much fun. So I'm really hoping that kind of thing takes off with single speed going into next season. I assume there's a next season. We haven't
Yeah. We haven't talked to
haven't
Bobby
talked to
yet.
Bobby, but I'm
So,
going to go on a limb and
yeah.
just predict that there will be a next season, because it otherwise has been immensely successful, I think. So I'm just curious. I mean, you brought up a good point. Like, hey, I think you said it, I'd rather lose to great riders that show up than just win by default. We always say, hey, you can only race who shows up. But at the same time, like, I think that's the right, to me, that's like the right attitude to have. Because like the reality is we just want to see, we all want to be a part of good racing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Or a good event, I should say. And the racing is just sort of the byproduct of a good event.
Yeah,
And so I'm hoping it ties people together.
yeah. You know, I have grown to the level that I've grown at this point because of other strong single speed riders.
Hmm.
There were a few in the community here when I first moved here that were really good, really strong guys. They podiumed at Unbound in the 200. Actually, one of them just won the 200 single speed this year in just really like incredible fashion. Um, and so trying to keep up with those guys and group rides and trying to kind of bring myself up to their level has helped me a lot. And so, yeah, I definitely would love to see some of the stronger guys, some of the proper hitters that we have in the region, and we have them
Hmm.
Yeah.
start showing up to some of these races more consistently. And I will definitely do my part to try to encourage them to
Yeah.
show up and rub it in their face that I won and
Yeah.
that they probably could have won if they had just shown up.
That's funny.
That
Yeah.
would
You'll
be,
be on the
yeah.
group ride going like, oh yeah, I'm basically the Great Plains Gravel Cup single speed
You
champion.
know what we really need? We need this series to have the belt,
Yeah.
the championship belt,
It's like the
and every
WWE belt, and they're
yeah,
like
like
holding it up, and then
the
there's like the challenger comes in, and
the UCI has the rainbow bands, but I
yeah,
think in the gravel cup needs to have the belt that
yeah.
you wear it backwards on the group rides so that they see
So
the
they see
champion.
the championship on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as they kick up, as they inhale the dust off your back wheel.
Well, and it needs to get taken away if you lose at the end of the
Yeah.
season
Yes,
Right.
yes.
for motivation.
And so put that in the suggestion box for Bobby.
Right.
I'm liking where this is going.
So
Well, I see him regularly, so I will
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
definitely throw that one out there.
What else
All
you
right.
got?
That's all I got for
Oh,
that
man.
kind of stuff, man.
So, like I said, I think the Pony Express is kind of a formality at this point. I mean, not to discourage
yeah,
other riders.
like definitely go and give
Please.
Gabe a run for his
Yeah,
money
you know
for
what?
sure.
Somebody just go knock Gabe off the top step. I mean, that just go and give him a run for his money.
Yeah, make him work for it.
But for all intents and purposes, congratulations on what looks to be a very solid year and potential championship here as a single speed champion for the Gravel Cup. That's an awesome accomplishment, man. These are not easy courses, and
Yeah, and they're not easy races.
no.
Either. Yeah.
And in the spirit of having the wrong gear choice at any given time, just the ability to go out there and grind through with whatever choice you make is a testament and a really, really awesome achievement. So
Thank you.
yeah. got time for a couple of rapid fire questions?
Yeah, we
'Cause-
like to have this part called rapid fire. I don't know if you've heard the podcast before, but
I
we
have.
basically ask Chat GPT some questions.
Yeah.
And then this is Chat GPT. This isn't us.
Yeah.
So
And
we
I've
can't
got-
be blamed.
I've got ChatGPT up over here to give me the answers.
Oh my gosh, that's good. So, we wouldn't be able to do anything these days without AI. It's kind of, it's kind of wild to see how it all shakes out. But,
Yeah.
all right. So some of these are not specific to single speed, but it's going to be interesting to get your perspective on a couple of these. What's more, wait, hang on a second.
Oh, wait.
Yeah?
I got
You got
one.
one?
I got
All
one.
right, Travis.
All right. So what's the etiquette, Gabe, in a pack? Does the single speeder have to take a pull?
Yes. But it depends. So it depends on the geared riders.
Yeah.
There are gear riders that are opposed to it.
Yeah, so I don't let you guys. So if anything, I try not to let you guys take a pull because I'm like, you guys are just going your speed, and what I try to do is just match whatever speed. If I'm working in the group, we're just trying to match whatever speed you're going, and if I want you to work, then we'll go whatever speed you're going, and then you can work yourself in. But I never expect like a single speeder to take a pull off the front,
I don't spend a lot of time in groups at races just because I don't like the pacing of the groups. They do a lot of
Yeah.
surging, and
Yeah.
there's a high cost to that for me.
Yeah, same here, brother. I'm not on that surging. It's a lot to get this big hunk of man moving.
But here in Emporia, I do pulling at a lot of the group rides if the opportunity presents itself. Now, I will say I usually get on the front, and for whatever reason, people decide I'm not going fast enough.
Yeah.
And then just start going around you. You're like, okay, whatever.
I mean, sometimes I'm going as fast as the group was going, but I think it's a psychological thing in their head because I'm on a single speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find that sometimes since I'm such a bigger guy, like people get in my draft and they think I'm not pushing that hard. And I'll see them like come up to the side and like they're going to try to like take over. And they're like, oh no, I'm in the wind now. No, thanks. I'm just going to go back here and do like half the wattage I was doing.
Yeah.
So.
Now, to your point, Travis, I think I've been guilty of doing exactly what you just described. Of getting in the group, and I'm like, why are we going so slow? What is happening here? And then
and then you pull out into the wind, and you're like, never mind.
I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah. I think I'm having a stroke. Smell toast.
All right, so ready for rapid fire?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, Gabe. If your bike could talk during a race, what would it say?
Go faster.
Nice. Go faster.
Slouch.
That's
What are you
all
doing?
it says. Just hurry up. Let's go.
All right, rocks or mud?
Rocks.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You ever be? I mean, I don't. How many times have you been stuck in these mud sections? We had a good conversation a couple of weeks back with Single Speeder, and was talking about how you do these mud sections, you get your bike cleaned off, and then you go and you have to go right back through
right
mud
into
again.
another
So,
one. Yeah.
and
you're
it's
just like,
it's for anybody, but it's like, gosh, are you kidding me? So yeah, I'd take rocks all day long.
yep.
Would you rather DNF on single speed or podium on a geared bike?
I'll take the podium all day long.
Yeah, that's right, baby. Take the podium. Always take the hardware home.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh. Let's see here. So this one is this one's kind of more generic. So what's a trend in gravel that needs to die immediately?
Oh man, that's hard. Trend in gravel that needs to die immediately. Can't really think of one. I'm not much of a trend follower though, so that could be part of the issue there.
Yeah.
I have something, and this might upset some people, but eating 100 grams of carbs per hour in a race.
Oh.
Oh, are you not a 100-gram carb guy?
Apparently not.
let me explain. So there's a difference between an elite rider doing a race and an amateur rider doing a race and energy
Okay.
expenditures. And
Okay.
so I don't think we should just take um, from what pros are doing or elite riders are doing and just wholesale adopt that approach. Because you guys said it on a podcast I happened to be watching the other day that you're in a calorie deficit no matter how much you eat.
Yep.
True.
Right? So that energy is coming from somewhere, right? Coming from fat.
Yeah.
Because the aerobic energy system utilizes body fat
Yep.
for
Yeah.
energy. And when you take a long distance race like a 100-mile race, most gravel races, you're spending a lot of time in zone two.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
You should be.
the
Yes.
bulk of your energy production in that zone is going to be coming from fat.
Yep.
It's
So
true.
as an amateur, you're going to spend more time in zone two proportionally than an elite rider is because you haven't developed the ability to ride in the higher zones for the time periods that they can. So you don't really need to slam as many carbs as they do. I think people are quick to adopt things like that. And I mean, people can do whatever, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
But I do pretty well on like 60 to 80 grams of carbs.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, in my mind, it doesn't seem unnecessary, or seem necessary. But when I recognize that as I get better and can spend more time in like zone 4 and zone 5 over the course of a race, then I'm going to need to bump those numbers up.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think there's a
Yeah.
lot of riders who are not very fast, who are spending most of their time in zone 2 or even zone 1, who are just slamming the calories all race long, thinking it's getting them a better result, and they're just really just enjoying a buffet on the bike.
Buffet of sugary candy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, I totally agree with you. I adjust my caloric intake or my grams of sugar depending on like what's the training ride. So if we're going out for like a 2-hour zone 2 ride, I don't need my normal race
All the
fuel,
gels.
all
Yeah.
the gels, all
Yeah.
that stuff. I can get by with
Like a PB&J.
yeah,
or-
PB&J or, just some other stuff that doesn't like, I don't have to go, highly sugarized stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're going out and we're doing intervals and then we're going to, do some stuff, then yeah, I have to.
Yeah.
It's like, your car, if you think of your body as like a car or like a vehicle, like when you're doing the zone 2 work, you're just like driving the tractor. It's just running on diesel, man. You can just kind of just put some diesel in there and just kind of
Just go.
keep going. And as long as you're feeding it, as long as you're kind of getting some stuff in, you're just going to keep going at that pace, at that tractor pace all day long. But if you're trying to be the sports car, you're going to be stopping at the gas station a lot, buying the high performance stuff.
It's true.
Because you're burning all that stuff. Yeah. So yeah, I usually use like the projected kilojoule burn, and you kind of base my so like, there's like I try to compare what I expended on training rides of that, of that kilojoule wise, and then versus what the calories I took in, and then I try to kind of match. Did I feel good? Did I feel like I was getting bloated? And then, you have to do that, experiment of one type thing of like finding out where you are. But yeah, I agree. Some of these pro athletes are burning like 300 grams of carbs an hour. Like I can't do that. That's like, it's like so much. I'm like,
Yeah. I've tried a couple. Yeah, I've tried a couple of times on training rides to throw down the 120 grams of carbs an hour number, which is 400 and something calories, almost
Yeah.
500 calories.
I can do that pretty okay.
Yeah.
But
And
we
it's-
have to be racing. I can't just
That's
be
what I mean. Yeah.
riding and
Yeah.
just be like,
Yeah.
like a Sunday easy ride.
Yeah, and it's usually only on like the really harder, more hilly routes that just require a lot more surges into that upper end of your threshold and VO2 max. So, yeah, I think people do have a tendency though to see the latest YouTube video from the big brand cycling podcast that says, "Look at what Tade's doing," and that must mean we all have to do it. And it's like, Yeah, okay, maybe. I mean, I guess if when I start racing like Tade, then I guess I'll look at that. But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, if you're just eating, like let's start with just eating consistently, and then we can talk about how much.
Yep.
Right. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
I can't
the
really.
other thing.
Uh,
Sorry, go for it.
yeah.
Gabe.
I can't really bash most trends because I have all the trends going on. I think I'm all aero all the time. I've got shorter cranks now on my bike.
Nah.
So yeah, that's the only thing that comes to mind for me.
Have you noticed on the shorter cranks thing? How do you think that's affected you?
I mean, it not really affected me. It's more for comfort.
Hmm.
Spent a lot of time in my aero bars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Just opens up that hip angle and just stops that from hurting
Yeah.
so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm focusing really heavily on getting my cadence up.
Yeah.
So having the shorter cranks helps a little bit.
Definitely helps. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Next question here. Is riding single speed actually harder, or are geared riders just smarter?
Yes.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Diplomatic answer.
Yeah.
It's. I would say it's. I. The longer I've ridden single speed, the more I've moved away from saying it's harder. It's different.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure. And it has aspects of it that can certainly make it harder, especially if you're really ambitious with your rides. But we make it as hard as we make it. You know?
Yeah.
It doesn't take having one gear to do that.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, when we had Preston on, I remember asking him the question about single speed is kind of a disadvantage, and he corrected me right away. It's like he never has seen it as a disadvantage. It's not a disadvantage.
It's just what you're
different.
doing.
Yeah,
It's just what you're doing.
Clearly, it's not a disadvantage because I get beat by single speeders all the time. So I'm thinking
same.
I'm the one that's doing something wrong.
Yeah.
So that's good. So, well, Gabe, that's pretty much it. ChatGPT didn't really want to give you too much of a hard time today.
Yeah, you got off light.
You got off real easy, and I'm really disappointed in it this time. But no, congratulations again on everything, man, and best of luck to you at Pony Express, and hey, if we could just get like maybe 15 people to show up and give you a run for your money, that might make you a little nervous.
Make you a little nervous. Yeah.
Good luck.
Gabe's like, nope, I got it on lock.
I got third place there last year.
I feel pretty good about this.
Yep.
I've adopted structured training for the first time after on down.
Nice.
So doing all sorts of interval training. So I'm just going to show up faster and fresher than ever before. So.
Nice. That's great.
I do have one add-on question since ChatGPT didn't want to help us out here. What's the craziest response you've gotten when you tell people you did Unbound on a single speed? You did 200 miles through the Flint Hills on a single speed.
Say the typical response I get that always makes me laugh is I don't like driving that far.
That's true.
I get that a lot actually.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So
I'm like, yeah, if you drove all of that, that would kind of suck. But like when you're out there riding it, it's really nice.
Yeah.
Like I always say, the bike riding is like the best speed to go and see like the country and stuff. It's like it's not like you're on a motorcycle driving by too fast and you have to pay attention to the road, but it's not like you're walking or running and you're just like, oh my God, if I have to stare at that mountain for another hour, get out of here.
Science, you are correct.
that's right. That's right.
So,
although an adventure bike, it might be in the future. I don't know. All right,
man. Well, Gabe, thank you again for giving us your time and coming on and stuff. And we look forward to hearing from you after Pony Express and with your champion belt.
Yeah,
we're gonna make it a thing.
Yeah, we're gonna start a petition.
Yeah, I think the single speeders should be like Hulkamaniacs, where they have like just like a straight up like WWF championship belt, gold belt that they can hold up and stuff.
And I'm not even saying you got to ride it during the race. But
No,
it should definitely
you
get
can take it
presented.
like you get Bobby comes up and he puts it in the case and he holds it on to you while you put it in there, and then you guys ride off on the race. Yeah,
I'm liking that.
I'm liking it.
Yeah.
We got to talk to Bobby now.
This is brilliant. Actually, I think it's a great idea. I might have to put up the funds for it. Say, Bobby,
I'd say
for it.
I think I'd be up for chipping in on something like that.
Yeah, especially just
you know what?
Be cool for single speed.
Maybe the SufferSooner podcast will promote and support something like that.
Yeah,
and
we'll just single speed championship belt action.
Belt.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Very good.
Yeah. All right. Thank you again, Gabe, and we'll talk to you later.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you for listening to this episode. Please, if you like what we are doing here, leave a like, rate us, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends. It really helps us grow and finds us more SufferSooner squad mates. And remember, when the finish line feels impossibly far away, we don't give up, we push harder, we dig deeper, and we find solace in the knowledge that our suffering is temporary and our resilience is forever.